Sequence 2, Boston, 1754.
Master Kenway! Master Kenway!
Yes, may I help you?
Charles Lee, sir. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. I've been asked to introduce you to the city, help you settle it. Oh, no need, sir. I've arranged for your bags to be delivered to the inn.
Are you by any chance John and Isabella's son?
Charles Lee, born 1731. Charles Lee was a British soldier who went on to become a major figure in the Revolutionary War. Lee's father was a colonel in the British Army and started his son off in a military career early. He was sent to a military academy in Switzerland during his formative years, and then in 1746, Lee became an ensign in his father's regiment. Lee was sent to the colonies in 1755 to fight in the French and Indian War. He served under Edward Braddock, and then later at Fort Ticonderoga, where he was injured in the fighting. Lee recovered and later fought at Fort Niagara. I'd always thought there were a lot of fort fights fought. He finished his time in the colonies with the British conquest of Montreal. Lee returned to England in 1760, possibly because he was seeking career advancement. He was named a major in 1761 and was sent to fight the Spanish in Portugal. Though his service record there was good, Lee didn't receive praise on his return home. In fact, he was retired from the army at half pay. After that, Lee became a vocal critic of military higher-ups and the British Prime Minister, and found that his military career had inexplicably completely stalled.
One and the same.
Your commission is with Edward Braddock, is it not?
Aye. But he's yet to reach America, and I figured I might... well, at least until he arrives. I thought...
Yes? Out with it.
Forgive me, sir. I had hoped that I might study under you. If I am to serve the Order, I can imagine no better mentor than yourself.
Kind of you to say, but I think you overestimate me.
Impossible, sir. This way.
Thief! Someone stop him!
Boston's quite a lively city.
There's all manner of things to see and do. Once you've settled in, I suggest you take some time to walk the streets. Who knows what opportunities you might discover.
Hold a moment. Need to fetch a few things before we get to work.
I'll arrange for horses while you do that.
British regulars. British regulars were the foot soldiers of the British Army. You'll also hear them referred to derisively as redcoats because of the red coats they wear as part of their uniforms. I'll bet you didn't see that coming. Or lobsternecks because of their huge, deadly pincers. Or still because of the red coat thing. I can't remember which. Regulars in the colonies were notoriously underpaid, and many looked for work outside of their army duties to make ends meet. Of course, their room and board was paid by the government, meaning they could charge lower than average rates for their work. Since unemployment was high in Boston before the Revolution, you can imagine This made the Redcoats rather unpopular among people they were taking work from. That and their huge, deadly pincers. Alright, let's go through the Boston docks here and find ourselves the general store. This is pretty cool. The gameplay and graphics and just the general game here seems to have been updated. So it'll be exciting to see what's new. I see that the cart's full of, well, whatever's in the cart is still there. Glad to see some things don't change.
Get back here with that, you rogue!
Looks like someone stole something from Benjamin Franklin. I'm sure we'll hear about that later.
By royal charter, King's College has been created in New York Colony.
Damned sprigs, this accursed city will be the death of me.
You seem troubled, friend.
That's because I am. Greatly so, in fact.
What's happened?
I was robbed. The old Balkan file. Though I've managed to restore what's mine, I fear it's ruined.
You mean the book?
This is no ordinary book. It's an almanac. The first I ever wrote. Benjamin Franklin, pleased to meet you.
Haythem Kenway.
You must be new to Boston.
Why do you say that?
You're still possessed of virtue. To stop and help an old lout like myself. I don't mean to impose, but you seem a spry fellow. Should you happen to find my missing pages, I'll reward you.
Look, I'm not sure if I...
It's all right, all right. If you have the time, hurrah! If not, no harm done. The thing is useless in its current state anyway. But should you somehow manage to restore it, you'll find me inside that general store over there.
Well, that was interesting.
Benjamin Franklin, born 1706. Benjamin Franklin was a renowned inventor, diplomat, and one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. Translation, he was a rock star of the age. Benjamin Franklin was born in Boston in 1706, the 10th son of a soap maker. 10 sons. I guess his parents couldn't afford a television, and also there was no television. He began working for his brother in 1718 as an apprentice printer. However, their relationship was rocky, particularly after the elder Franklin found out that the young Benjamin had been writing for the paper under a pseudonym, Silence Dogood, and writing an extremely popular column at that. Human nature being what it is, the fact that the column was popular was probably the bigger problem. Benjamin ran away in 1723 and headed for Philadelphia, where he continued his career in printing and writing, eventually buying the Pennsylvania Gazette. The business, I mean, not just a copy. That would have been one of his lesser achievements. He stayed in Philadelphia for most of his life, that is, when he wasn't making extended trips to Europe. Franklin had a talent for persuasion, and that made him an ideal diplomat. In 1757, he went to London to represent Pennsylvania in an ongoing legal battle with the Penn family. It was the first of several extended political trips to Britain, and he would act as the state representative for Massachusetts, Georgia, and New Jersey as well. In fact, Franklin was in Europe for most of the Revolution, though he was in the colonies to help with writing of the Declaration of Independence. Franklin was a vocal opponent of British impositions on the colonies, like the Stamp Act, and although he first fought for the rights of the colonies as British citizens, he eventually became convinced, like many of the Founding Fathers, that independence was the only real solution. Unfortunately, Franklin's change of heart made him clash with his son William, who served as the royal governor of New Jersey. William remained an active loyalist. The father and son never spoke again. When he was founding a new nation and destroying his family in the process, Franklin was a scientist, inventing things like bifocals and more efficient wood stoves when he wasn't mapping the Gulf Stream and discovering how electricity worked. What have you done today? Made yourself a microwave meal? Sat about in your underwear? Oh, well done, you. He was also quite a lady killer. Jesus. This guy, carrying on several friendships with women while he was in Europe. The records don't say what exactly they saw in him. Certainly not his looks. Maybe women like a man who's intelligent. If that was true, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in Portugal, surrounded by them, and you'd be looking at a blank screen. Poor Sean. Alright, well, we can find Benjamin Franklin's pages, I guess. But for now, we can head into the general store.
For the amateur sailor or fishing enthusiast.
Good to see you, my friend.
Talking to the shopkeep. We can buy or sell items. Normal weapons. We have a sword. A normal sword. And it looks like we have some firearms. Let's see what our options are. The flintlock pistol is our only choice. It looks like it gives us a little blurb. This flintlock pistol has better accuracy at short range and is thus less powerful than the musket. However, it's more comfortable in a fight than on a battlefield and easier to wield, offering more versatility. Because of the time it takes to load after every single shot, many people will carry 2 or more pistols at the same time. Try crafting a pistol sheath with 2 holsters to add and carry a second pistol. Okay, we can buy the pistol, since it's really our only choice. We see up there on the top that it has kind of a little wheel. Let's go back to the blade. This blade is useful to settle matters quickly and efficiently. When close combat occurs, it's noiseless. Approach makes it reliable under any weather conditions, especially when black powder is dripping wet and unusable. The guard is wide and protects the wielder's hand. Sometimes it may also be used to punch the opponent. And again, we get our dial on top. That's what I was talking about before, with damage, speed, and combo. Whichever's highlighted seems to be the best for that weapon, instead of giving it like a number stat, which it does anyways. So
will be on display at
Never been to Boston. I think it'd be cool to go. This is gonna take a little bit getting used to. So we've got abilities or ranged, maybe? Nope. Okay, well, I'm gonna get used to that a little bit. Yeah, I've never been to Boston. I'd like to go and see some of the sights. A couple other games based out of Boston. The Fallout 4, that was in Boston. To be honest, I don't know any more. I'm sure there is more. But, anyways, alright, let's get on with the story. Looks like we can catch up with Lee over here and ride around town.
We ride for the Green Dragon Tavern. The proprietors are eccentric, but the rooms are spacious and they do not pry.
Have you?
Sorry to interrupt you, Haythem. Faneuil Hall. Don't let the French spelling confuse you. The name of this building is pronounced Faneuil or Faneuil. Getting it wrong is a good way to indicate you're not from around here, but it's also a great way of proving that you're not French, which, in my experience, is a real boon. Also, if you want to pass as a local, you should take a good look at the weather vane. It's a Boston landmark. Legend has it that in the War of 1812, suspected spies were asked what was on top of Faneuil Hall. Only a true local would be able to say it was a grasshopper. The building was named after Peter Faneuil, the local merchant who paid to build it. It was meant as a place for local farmers to sell their goods, so their carts would stop crowding the streets. And also, so you didn't have to walk near farmers. However, it's the meeting hall on the second floor which gives the building its nickname, the Cradle of Liberty. That's rather ostentatious, and dare I say American, as a nickname, but it's not inaccurate. People met here to protest the Stamp Act. The first anti-tea tax meetings were also held here. Anti-British meetings occasionally drew crowds so large the building couldn't even hold them, at which point they all went to the old South Meeting Hall. During the siege of Boston, the meeting hall here was made over into a theater. Since plays of any kind were banned in Boston under ordinary circumstances, something I think should still be a law. Actually, this is yet another example of British loyalists sticking it to the rebels. And that's all there is to Faneuil Hall. However, leaving, we find that there's another entry in other I missed markets. Let's go to the top. There are a number of public markets in the colony, meaning you can get supplies easily. Of course, paying for goods is another matter, as currency was incredibly complex. People paid in English, Spanish, French, and Portuguese coins. Wampum, New Jersey, and New York bills. Magic beans, laundromat coins, the list goes on. We've simplified everything down for you in the Animus. You're welcome. While some markets sold a variety of goods, like Faneuil Hall in Boston, others were more specialized. New York's Coenties Slip was mainly a fish market, though, like most markets, it sold a little of everything. While if you were in the market for African slaves, Peck's Slip was the place to go. Yes, slavery was legal at the time, though it was less common in Boston than New York, which had the largest slave population in the North. Don't be surprised to see European servants for sale either. Some were sold for a fixed number of years to pay back their passage to the New World, a much better deal than the slaves were offered.
Been told why it is I've come to Boston.
No, Master Birch said I should know only as much as you saw fit to share. He sent me a list of names and bade me ensure you could find them.
And have you had any luck with that?
Aye. William Johnson waits for us at the Green Dragon.
How well do you know him?
Not well, but he saw the order's mark and did not hesitate to come.
Prove yourself loyal to our cause, and you may yet know our plans as well.
I should like nothing more, sir.
They haven't said it outright yet, but it sounds like Haythem's a Templar. At least I get that feeling. The Green Dragon Tavern. This tavern is sometimes called the headquarters of the Revolution, though I imagine when it is, they pronounce it headquarters of the Revolution, because overthrowing the government in a pub is thirsty work. It was a popular place for people like Paul Revere and Samuel Adams to sit with their friends and plot. Up until 1754, the tavern was owned by William Douglas. When he died, his property was left to his daughter, Catherine Kerr, and his nephew, Cornelius Douglas. They divided their inheritance equally, and it seems got along famously. The Freemasons bought the tavern in 1766 and renamed it the Freemasons' Arms, which didn't actually stick because the sign above the door was still a green dragon. Freemasons, the secret society everyone knows about. Let's get a pub where we can meet in complete secret and no one will ever know. Brilliant. What shall we call it? How about the Freemasons' Arms? Legend has it that Paul Revere's ride was planned here, but that's unlikely. By 1774, Revere had been warned that the British were listening in on his meetings, and had therefore stopped making super-secret plans in public where anyone could hear them. Someone tell the Masons you know where to find them. Okay, so we completed the mission. We opened up some new items in the shops. Looks like weapons and whatnot. Let's go in.
You lying, cheating, no good son of a bitch.
Perhaps we've come at a bad time.
Oh, don't be foolish, dearies. Please, sit. Fancy something to eat? A drink, perhaps? Or is it a bed you require?
We've already let rooms here.
Oh, yes. Of course. Masters Lee and Kenway, was it? I'll have your bags brought up. Do you require anything further?
Only privacy.
This way.
What a guy making his wife do it. Cornelius Douglas, you savage.
Sir, William Johnson.
A pleasure. A good lad, if a bit earnest. I'm told you're putting together an expedition.
We believe there's a precursor site in the region. I require your knowledge of the land and its people to find it.
Sadly, my research has been stolen. Without it, I'm of no use to you.
Then we'll find it. Do you have any leads?
My associate, Thomas Hickey, has been making the rounds. He's quite good at loosening tongues.
Well, tell me where I can find him. I'll see if I can't speed things up.
We've heard rumors of bandits operating from a compound southwest of here. You'll likely find him there.
Charles? Sir. We'd best be off.
Of course.
William Johnson, born 1715. William Johnson was a land speculator and Britain's principal treaty negotiator with the indigenous peoples in the northern part of the colonies, particularly the Iroquois. Johnson was born in Ireland, but moved to the colonies in 1738 to look after his uncle's property on the Mohawk River. However, it wasn't long before Johnson branched out into business for himself, acquiring property on the opposite side of the river and setting up a sawmill and trading post, which he named Mount Johnson, which to me always sounds like the mating instructions from a caveman. In 1743, he moved to an even larger parcel of land, which he named Fort Johnson. He may have been an excellent businessman, but it's possible he lacked an imagination. Johnson befriended the indigenous people in the area, particularly the Kenyan Kehaka, whose language he learned. His respect for their customs helped him rise to prominence as liaison between the Iroquois people and the British government. Johnson was named Superintendent of Indian Affairs in 1756 as a contact who knows the land and its people. He's probably the best you'll find. And that's it for Mr. Johnson. However, we heard the name Thomas Hickey, and he appears in the database. Thomas Hickey, born unknown. Thomas Hickey was an Irish-born member of the British Army. He arrived in Boston in 1752, but it wasn't long before he was assigned to William Johnson's personal guard. Apparently, at Johnson's request, possibly because their families were connected in Ireland, or maybe he found the name Hickey funny. The record isn't clear. Hickey served under Johnson during the French and Indian War, but then he left the army after being written up several times for disorderly conduct. After 1760, Hickey disappeared from the historical records for several years. I do, however, have several mentions in William Johnson's household accounts of payments made to T.H. It's possible Hickey was working for him as a spy. If so, he should really have developed some tougher codes to crack. These look like some pretty nice rooms. Charles, you coming? Is he gonna start walking? Charles? I believe that's our room that she's cleaning. Maybe I have to talk to him. What is this? Why is he still all glowy? It's like a spider web. Oh.
Tell me about yourself, William.
What's to tell? I was born in Ireland to Catholic parents, which I learnt early in life severely limited my opportunities. So I converted to Protestantism and journeyed here at the behest of my uncle. But I fear my uncle Peter was not the swiftest of men. He sought to open trade with the Conyan Gahaga, but chose to build his settlement away from the trade routes instead of on them. I tried to reason with the man, but as I said, not the swiftest. So, I took what little money I'd earned and bought my own little plot of land. I built a home, a farm, a store, and a mill. Humble beginnings, but well situated, which made all the difference.
So this is how you came to know the Mohawk?
Indeed, and it has proved a valuable relationship.
But still no mention from your contacts of the precursor site? No hidden temple or ancient constructs?
Yes and no. Which is to say, they have their fair share of sacred sites. Earthen mounds, forest clearings, hidden caves. But nothing matching what you describe. No strange metals, no odd glows.
It is well hidden.
Even to them, it seems. But cheer up, my friend. You'll have your precursor treasure. I swear it.
To our success, then.
And soon.
Looks like we can talk to him again.
Should not be much longer.
He's not doing that spider web thing, so I assume that that's all that he has to say. I think before we meet with this chap, we'll actually end the episode and start right here. We'll begin the next episode talking to this gentleman. So I'd like to wish you a good day, night, whatever it might be. Please do comment, like, subscribe, dislike, whatever you feel like. And, yeah. We'll see you next time. Bye now.